Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Card Craft. Thanks for joining me again today. You know, we've all been doing our 12 by 12 series and how to use up our 12 by 12 papers. But I don't know if you're like me, how many of our 6 by 6s do we have? It's just, I went to clean my desk the other day and I've got a big box to the side full of 6 by 6 paper pads, or 6.5. 6.5, 6s, 5.5s, you know the ones. We've all got them. We've been able to pick them up cheap as we've gone along. We've used them for our card making and they tend to breed. So I wanted to start sorting mine out. I went and got a Totally Tiffany bag and sorted out the ones that I use all the time. And I've put them in that, and I've got all my vintage ones in there, and I've still got a pile of them. And I need that space on my desk. So I thought, let's get into these. So today we're using up our 6 by 6 paper pads. Yes, you can still do these with your 12 by 12s. Trim them down, but I just thought it was easy to get through some of these. What I want to do is some very quick and easy little envelopes, great for Happy Mail, or, which is how this originally came about, I was working on a new journal, and, right, okay, so there it is attached sideways in my journal, still giving me another pocket at the back. These guys are so easy to do. They're great for using up our 6 by 6s. As I said before, you can still use your 12 by 12s, but we are going to work our way through this cardstock if it's the last thing I do. I need to clear my desk. So, without any further ado, let's get on to this. So I've grabbed just a couple. And again, if you're like me, if you go through your paper pads, have they got those little bits floating in and around and all the rest? And this one I've had, I couldn't tell you how long I've had this. You would have seen me using some of it in the 12 by 12s with the Kaiser Craft ones at the back. They have all these. Now, for years, since I've been doing journaling, so yes, for years, probably 4 years, I've been pulling all mine out and I put them in this and I call them my cluster bases. And they're all the little die cut pieces at the back. And I use these guys and I will colour them, I'll stamp on them and do this sort of thing. So that way I thought I was getting through my 6 by 6s. Yeah, no, I'm not. It's still taking me a month Sundays to do anything with them. So, here's the rest of my paper pad. Yeah, like, I've not touched that. And this is one that I like and would use quite a bit of. So we're going to pull anything out. Let's have a look. I like this sheet. And I like this sheet. Let's go green. So, quick and easy. First really quick one we're going to do. Here's my basic paper pad. If you've got a scoreboard, it makes it a little bit easier. I like this as my base down here. So I'm going to use this as my main piece. My roses go that way, so it's going to fold down here. So I'm going to sit it upside down in my scoreboard because this has that embossed finish. I'm going to go this way. It is a 6.5 by 6.5. I'll bring that down so you can actually see it. I want a fairly good sized tab, you know, so down to about there. So I'm going to score this round about 3 3/4. You can score this at any size you want that tab, your top fold. All right, there it is. There's our top fold. I'll just give that a crease. That's it. I'm going to pop that one away right now. Okay. So here, in essence, is our pocket or our piece. I want this one because I really like this section. Do I want him down there or do I want this? I'm going to go this way. I need to make sure I've covered that fold. So I'm going to go up a little bit and I'm going to cut that across there. So I'll just pull out my trimmer. And no measurements with this lot, okay? I want it up to about there, so I'm going to trim it round about there. So if I put it that way, you can have a look and see just how much is coming off, if I can actually get it under. So I'm going to trim that off at about 3. I can trim it down further than that if I want to. If I sit this one here, there we go, it's going to fit. Simple as that. So with this one, I want my big thumb marker in there. Just realised I've got my microphone attached to me and I've leant the wrong way. So if I've moved the tripod there, I'm sorry. And I want my ruler and I want my pencil. So we know it's 6.5. So half of 6.5 is 3 1/4, which is about there, which will give me my thumb hole dead smack in the centre. So I'm using a large oval for this, so it's got a lot of room. And there we go for that one. Just going to ink around so that I can see it, mainly on the top bit here, because I'm going to ink the rest later on. Right, so that's that one. This one I like my inside bit a bit grungy. My outside, it's not going to take that well to the embossed pieces on this. And what I want to do is I want to round my corners. So I'm just going to get a standard corner rounder. I'm going to round the corner in there and push it right up into that, like so. I'm going to round the corner in there, like so. This one's going to sit down here, but if I glue this, I've got to work out where I need my glue to go before I round my corner. So I'm just going to hold it in place, nice and straight, hopefully. Less haste, more speed, you know, all of that. And I'm going to pop both of those in there and round that one. And then I'm going to do the same in here, like so. Now I can actually adhere those down. So this is the quickest way to do this. Nice, quick, easy. We will see exactly where we need to go. Might help if I take it off there and I can actually see where the end of the cardstock is. So I'm just going to run my bead of glue all the way around, as close to the edge as you can. Back up here. Pop my lid back on my glue. And I'm just going to adhere that one down there. So you can use these either way, as I said before. They make great little Happy Mail envelopes, or you can pop them the other way as I did with the other one. Now, I'm thinking I want to round the corners on that as well with this one. With my other one, this one, I've rounded my corners, but I've left that one straight because I've popped a little bit of lace in there just to bring out that black again. But this one I've actually rounded the corners with this as well. Like, there's your basic. It's done. How hard, really, how hard was that? So let's decorate this guy a little bit. We know it came from this one. Let's have a look. Some are better than others. We all know that with these paper pads, and sometimes you've got ones in here that you know you are never going to use. Look, I love these. Hang on, I've got some loose ones of these in here. Look at these. I love these. These work a treat. So I'm going to go down there, and I'm going to need to round the corner of that one again, aren't I? But let's just trim that bit off. Let's find a mat. Oh, let's do that, and I'll grab my knife. Trim that bit there, and I want this light green. And I want him just down there. And then I'll trim those corners off again. All right, so I can actually just use my glue stick on that one, which is this one. I have, my daughter suggested it, and I've got on my tablet in front of me, I've got a stopwatch running because I'm forever going over time. It's giving me an anxiety attack, I'm telling you. I can't stop looking at it. I don't know if I can cope with this. Oh, it's just, you know, I don't know if I can do this. It was a really good idea at the time, but I'm really having an anxiety attack. Oh, dear. Right. She down. Oh, wow. Right, there's that one. There's that one. They can now be inked up if we want. But it's brought it all back together. Again, for me, I'd like some lace. We're not going to decorate it. If we get time at the end, we'll decorate it. But I'm working so quick. We'll go on to the next one. Oh, my word. Right. So we'll grab another one from here. Let's just grab that because it's there. And I can't say that I'd use it for anything else. But what I want to do with this one is give it a little bit of a gusset. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold it down with our scoreboard. Move my glue. Move that. Grab that. Does this have an up and down? Not really. So we'll score it round about that same mark again, which was what, 3 3/4. Let's go 4 and give us 2.5 for a flap. So make this one a deeper pocket. And let's do this sideways one that I did with my first one. And I don't know the measurements of that one because each time I've done it, it's been slightly different. Fold that over. Give it a crease. Grab one of my other bone scorers that are sitting here because I've got like 5 of them sitting here. Right. So same principle, exactly the same principle. But what I want to do with this one, I'm just going to grab my thing of book paper that I have sitting on my desk with me. And I want to turn this into an older version like I did with the others. So I need something that's a little bit wider than these. So this book fits well. What have I got with the most wording? Let's go. Let's go that one. So I'm just going to tear that. Love old book paper. Right. Sit you to the side. And so with this one, I want it like so. So it's going to be a little bit larger so that I can give some gusset pieces at the top. I can do them at the bottom as well. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit. We'll make a pencil mark of how far each side I can go, which is about there. And about there. So if I use my scoreboard on this, it's very old paper, what will happen is that it will have a tendency to tear. So what I'm going to do with this one is sit it on my grid, and I'm going to just use my ruler as a placement to fold it over. Does that make sense? Because I'm really worried with this lot. I've got no fingernails. I'm really worried with this lot that it will, see how it wants to tear? So we're just going to be very careful. Now I can fold it over and hope that it's kind of straight. Okay, so that what I'll get is, which side have I gone? That side. I want it like that. going that way, so that this one will sit now in here. And we'll do the same with the other side. So we'll sit that back on the grid, okay, up along there so that it's nice and straight. And we'll again use our ruler very carefully, just to give it a little bit of crease, like so. Okay, and then carefully even, fold it over. Give it a little bit of a crease. And I want to do the same with my bottom section. So this is hopefully going to fit now. Yeah, fairly good. If it's not, I can always trim it up. So I'm going to do the same with this side. If my ruler will fit, yep. So if I sit you there, might give this one just a little bit more and we'll start at our actual wording. So if I can even that up, I'm there. I'm going to actually have to start there, aren't I? Because it's an old book, they're not always going to be sitting straight on the page with your font. Right. I will fold this one over. Oh my word, I'm on 16 minutes. I don't like this. Right. Open those back out again and trim your corners off, so that you're taking out that, so that when they fold, they're in a mitre. It just leaves a little bit less bulk sitting in the corner, like so. Now I can work out the height that I want it. And again, what I'm going to do is fold it over so that it gives it just a little bit more thickness, because this page is, I want to go to about there, I reckon. This one's going to fold down to, if I sit that there, it's going to fold down to that mark. If I sit this on here, so we're going to go there. I'm going to go to about there, I think. I'm just going to make a pencil mark there. Right. I want all that folded in on itself as well. So let's have a look. Right. Because I'm going longer than my little mat at the moment. Am I still in shot? Yes. Let's see how straight this thing is. Not overly. And we'll use the bigger ruler. It's going to be right on that crease, isn't it? Let's have a look. And I'm going to glue that whole bit down. Okay. And fold that over, because I want the strength in this book paper. So that's my finished length. So I'm going to trim these ones off. Like so. And the same on this side, carefully doing that one that's torn. All right. And I'm going to put my little V's back on that side as well as a mitre. It should give me a little bit of that. This one I'm going to actually adhere all the way down with my glue stick, just to give it that little bit of extra oomph at the top. So when you're working with really old paper, it's always wise to do something like that. Either back it with its own paper or with something else. And again, go very carefully when you're using a glue stick on it, because you saw how easy it rips. Normal book paper, anything newer, you're going to be fine with. But with this sort of age, well, let's face it, with age we all get a little bit crinkly and easily broken. So fold that over so that I can glue that in. Come on. How's that? And again, very carefully when you're using a scraper to push down, don't drag it across, just push as you go. Right. So now I've got my folded edges. This one's going to sit in here like so. So up in there, match at least one side. You can always trim it off later on. So you can see that this one's a little bit longer down here, and so I'll trim that off. And there's this one. So I'm going to have this one in this way, and I'm not going to put a thumb hole in that one. So right now I'm going to ink the top of my edge before it's in. All right. And now I'm going to glue, move that one. Now I'm going to glue my folded bits. If my glue will come out. There we go. Making sure you're right at the edge on both sides. You don't necessarily need, you know, this is about 1/4 of an inch it would have to be, which is wise on this sort of book paper anyway. If you're using standard copy paper or other book pages, you really only need 1/8 of an inch, a couple of mil, just enough to give yourself a seam allowance. Seam allowance, see, there's my sewing days coming in. But the more you've got adhered down with the old book pages, the better you're going to be, or the safer you're going to be. So we're going to go all the way up so it doesn't get caught as you're popping things in. If you're really clever, you can use your glue stick. I don't have that sort of control. Right. So now with our glue, and on this, let's put the lid back on that one. And I'm going to go from this edge. Make sure that that's all down. Make sure that this one's still folded as I go. And I can come up to here and grab hold of these ones. And my little bit that needs tucking in under there. And I've left, you'll see I've pushed it in a little bit, just so that I've got that lip there. And it's not too tight. And I'm going to trim down there, and that way I've got it stronger now in here. Just wait for my glue to adhere. I'll grab my trimmer, and I'm just going to trim just a fraction off there without actually taking the book page off. Okay, like that. Doesn't matter, I've got a little bit of white showing, because if I use my ink again, it will cover that. So see how you then lose that little bit of the white edge that you had there. Okay, so that's number 2. Without them being decorated, I know, but I'm trying to work on a time limit here. So number 2, so it's all folded in. So you've seen, quick and simple, both pages are your book page, your 6x6 paper pads. This one's given you a little bit of a gusset, so it actually gives you more of a space in there without bending it all out. Now, our other way of doing these is this. This was a scrap, and again, are you guys like me? Let's have a look. I've got another paper pad here that looks like it. Do we all have paper pads like this? With bits taken out, bits that are cut out of them, bits that are slotted in everywhere. I do. all of mine are like that, which is the other reason why I went and got the Totally Tiffany set, because that has little pockets that'll go in it that I can put all the extra bits in. So I've got this piece. I'm going to clean up this edge. So I'm just going to sit that straight in my trimmer, and I'm going to take it. If I turn it that way, can you see that? I'm going to take it so that it's nice and even, and it's just past where I've already cut out here. So now I've got a straight edge. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to turn it this way. I'm going to give myself my seam allowance again, so that I've got a little bit of a gusset. And I'll give myself that 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch there, like that. Okay, we'll fold that one over. Give it a little bit of a bend. Crease him down. And I'm going to do exactly the same on the bottom. So I'm just going to sit, because he won't be a perfect measurement now because we've cut some of it off. So I've moved it down from here just so that I've got it on an actual line, and I can go up a 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, half a centimetre, depending on what measurements you're working on. All right, do the same with that one. Do the same again, trim off your corner, because we're all practiced in that now, so that we've got our gusset here and our gusset there, like so. What we want to do now is find our halfway point, because we're going to fold this one over, okay? Now you could do this either way, for lengthwise or widthwise, but we're going to fold this one this way. So we need our halfway point from here to here. So let's have a look. This guy is now round about 6 1/4. So we've used that side. I'll take that there. What I'm looking for is, it's just under actually. 6 1 2 3/8. So 3. I'm going to go about there, aren't I? That should be half. Let's go to the smaller measurements. 4, yes. All right, so this is where I want to make my, making sure it's nice and straight, my fold line. And then we will keep our fingers crossed that this, when he folds over, he's going to match up with that. Don't you like it when a plan comes together? So folding that one down. Okay. This bit I'm going to trim off. Easy as that. I'm going to use these scissors because they're nice and sharp on the tip. They are extremely dirty and probably need cleaning, but it means I can get right to my tip. Like that. And that bit's going to come out so that when this is up, this will fold flat onto it, like so. The other thing I'm missing is my fold. So at this point, I want to work out what size flap I want. Let's have a look. What's this guy measuring at the moment? He's about 5 inches. So if I did a 2-inch flap, it's going to come down to about there, isn't it? So if I do a 1.5 inch flap, it's going to come down to about there. So I'm going to, did that make sense? I know, I'm talking too fast. I want to make about a 1.5 inch flap. So again, I'm just going to sit it on a straight line. I'm going to measure down 1.5 inches, and I'm going to fold. Like so. Fold that all over again. Do tell me if I'm talking too fast. Please. Right. So now I've got this. This one is my flap, okay? Because I want this bit as my front. So again, I'm going to chop out this bit, and I'm going to chop out this bit. All right? So with my scissors, because I can't cut straight with scissors, and let's just try this. All right, down here. That one's out. And then we're going to chop out this one. And this one. And I'm going to give that little mitre again, just so I don't see it sitting up there. So now what I've got is my flap. Really, how easy. And it was one of the offcuts that I had sitting in there. I want my little piece in here so that you can actually see it, because it is so far up. So let's have a look. It's around about 3 inches. Around about, so if we go the 1.5, and I need a smaller one. My big one that I had before, if I pop that one in there, it's going to take up all of it. So I want a slightly smaller oval, which is this size. Make sure he's nice and straight, like that. Okay, going back to my rounded corners, but just on my flap. I'll sit you in, like that, and then that one, like that. And now all we've got to do is move all our mess and glue it down. 31 minutes. Look at what we've done. How quick are they? Can you imagine sitting there for the afternoon working your way through your paper pads and just building, even if you just went to start with all those offcuts that you have sitting, yeah, we've all got them. We've all got those offcuts. So if you just work your way through your little smaller paper pads, or even your 12 by 12 paper pads, and all the offcuts, spent an afternoon, I want to trim that off, spent an afternoon making up a pile of these so that they're sitting there ready to decorate. You know, they're great. You can just pull them out whenever you require them, decorate them up in the style that you're then doing that will then match the journal or whatever else, and then they're sitting there. Look at that. And you will work your way then through all those offcuts that we've got sitting there. So 33 minutes, booyah for me, given myself an anxiety attack in the middle of it all, but we've done it. We've made 3 in 33 minutes. So, you know, I've just put a little round in that one, and they don't take much to decorate. I've put a dragonfly sticker on here, put a doily sticker, another dragonfly sticker, and I've cut out a piece that was in that specific paper pad as embellishments. So we've got that one. See, and they're all going to come out different size when you use your offcuts. So we've got that one and that one and that one and that one, and we've got that one, and we've got the one that's actually attached in the journal, which started the whole thing. I hope you've enjoyed that. So we're going to continue, hopefully, with our series of getting rid of all this cardstock that we've got sitting around, because we all do, and we've all been many crafters in many different genres and all the rest. So I hope you've liked this one. It can go from your 6x6s to your 12x12s, but I'm going to spend the rest of the week making up piles of these in my offcut bits, in all my little bits that are sitting around. So ones like that, I can do like these ones so that I can still have my flap, but I can put something else there, because otherwise it's going to be a little bit too small for me. But go through them, guys. Get rid of our offcuts. We're hoarding them. We're hoarding them for what? Let's use them. Okay. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, I would love you to come on board. For those of you that have subscribed, thank you guys for continuing this journey with me. I love having you all on board. And until next time, see you later. Bye.